Welcome to the Three Principles Global Community webinar. The Three Principles Global Community, or 3PGC, is a nonprofit organization that is committed to bringing an understanding of the three principles as introduced by Sydney Banks to people throughout the world. And today we are just absolutely thrilled to have Rob Cook back. And what can I say? Rob does so many things. As we were talking about earlier, just loves his community and is a supporter, helper, but he's also a teacher, a coach. He runs programs. He is an all-around guy. He's on the 3PG board, and we're so excited to hear him share. And I will turn it over to you, Rob.
Wendy's like, yes. First, thank you to everybody who's here today. Um, today, today's topic changed because if you'd have told me 72 hours ago when asked would I still be able to do this, I didn't know. And that's based off me living in Los Angeles right now. We're experiencing the wildfires. Evacuated for a few hours, but still back home and safe, and everything is in play. And for those who love what I call my big homie, my big brother, Michael is also safe as well. We've been spending a lot of time together, both in the canyons, trying to make sure our resources, in both households get stay. But for those who have first time ever hearing or seeing a webinar with me, I would probably do it a little bit different than most because I'll speak for a few minutes and then I'm really just going to open it up and want the conversation to really flourish. But there are some things I do like to do. And one is allow everybody to feel seen and everybody to feel heard. So if you would, just give me a thumbs up, a heart emoji or something to let me know you're here, that your mind is here, that you are set, to go through this understanding and talk about this. And if there are any immediate needs, I would love to get you either in a breakout room with someone or somewhere where we can address that as well. Sometimes we just click on because we need help, and I totally understand that. But if we are good to go, I saw the hearts and everything. I really wanted to start today with the story. And the story is about a young man who experienced a natural disaster through the midst of grief. And this young man had experienced these experiences two different times in his life, one with this understanding and one without. And they were completely different experiences. So when I first came into the principles in 2018, most of you have maybe seen it, and if not, send me an email, I could send it to you. Michael Neal invited me on an opportunity to sit down with him for 3 days and hear this understanding. At the time, I was in the height of my battle with PTSD. I was born and raised in the streets. So I'm a former gang member, former drug dealer, former not good person. We'll just say it that way. Throughout the time in which we were initially working together, I found it hard to really take in what it was he was saying. And my first big experience when getting this understanding was the death of my 11-month-old nephew and what was called the Woolsey fires. So again, fires and grief. I got the call that my brother, his youngest son, had died, and there was a possibility that he and his girlfriend would be arrested as negligence for cause of death. And me and my brother we've loved each other since we've known each other. However, my career in law enforcement and his career at being a drug seller and a gang member kind of conflicted. It's pretty much almost any biblical story of two sons from a mom who just took two different routes. But when my nephew died, I really didn't care about his lifestyle anymore. I just wanted my little brother to be okay. I didn't know what it felt like. I had no words to explain it, but I knew we were in for quite the ride. And I'm checking in on my time of leaving here, going home for that visit. And I'm checking in with Michael like almost on the daily, like, how do I do this? And I'm fixing all these rules. So I go, okay, I remember when my grandmother died and I was a kid. My uncle, He walked in, he was dressed in all black. He had on very dark sunglasses, and he did not shed a tear. His face was stoic. He just sat in the funeral, and then he walked with the casket when it was time. And so in my mind, I had identified that as strength. That was how I wanted to be there for my brother. And so my whole ride, plane ride from Los Angeles to Birmingham, I'm just running in my mind. All right, put the glasses on, gotta be strong, making up this type of response I need to come with. My plane had some delays, which caused me to obviously freak out, thinking I would miss the funeral. And when I finally got to my mom's house, I didn't see my brother until the next morning. And as I stood in the mirror, I was dressed in all black. I had my sunglasses, and I was ready, so I thought, to be my uncle. And the moment I saw my little brother, I just cried. I didn't know what else to do. And I panicked because this wasn't what my uncle did. And now I don't know what to do. So I'm sitting in the back of the church, and I just keep jumping out, coming back in, just crying, like, stay strong. I'm at the point of literally arguing with myself about not being weak and trying to profess this strength. And lo and behold, my uncle pulls up to the church. And before he gets a chance to go in, I'm like, I'm country, so you'll probably hear my dialect, kick in at some point. I'm like, how you do this shit, man? Like, how did you do this shit? Like, how did you sit there with grandma? And like, how did you, like, I gotta be strong. And he looked at me and he said, don't do that. He said, the dumbest thing I ever did was never grieve my mom. And it just like shattered. And I was like, now I don't know what to do. I have no clue what to do now, which is why I fell into trusting what I had just recently learned. And so we make it through the funeral. We get to the graveyard, and my brother asked me to help him walk the casket over. So it's just two pallbearers because it's an infant's, casket. And I walked to him, and once we sat it down, I hugged him, and I said, I don't know how, but we'll figure this out. So 2 days pass while I'm at home visiting, doing everything. My brother comes over to my father's house, and he says, do you remember the last time you told me that? And I was like, told you what? He said, you said, don't worry, you would figure it out. And I was like, I've never said it before. Like it just came to my mind to say then at the casket. And he was like, no. 20 years ago, when we were kids at the time, I think it probably would have been about 20 years ago, maybe even more. I'm 48, so it had to be way more than 20 years ago. I just aged myself. So at least 30 years ago, my mom was in an abusive relationship. And I came home from my job, working at the corner grocery store. And her boyfriend at the time had beat her so bad she was bleeding in the bathtub. And my younger brother was in the closet crying. And so I walked up, he says, his recollection was, I walked to the closet and said, get up, don't cry, just give me some time, I'll figure this out. Now, I don't remember that, but it was the moment where, how people say this understanding is happening whether you know it or not? The things are, God is at play whether you know it or not, however you want to say it. That was when that started happening. I would come back to Los Angeles after that experience, to the Woolsey fires, and then have to evacuate my home for over 2 weeks. We were in a hotel, and at the time I had just started rescuing dogs. So I got 2 dogs, trying to find a hotel, and we found one that it seemed like my dogs just like to pee and crap at all day long in the room. I don't know if they were out of whack or what, but it was, and as stressful and as tenseful as that was, I remember trying things or trying to find the solution to the feeling of pain that I had at the moment. I remember trying. I knew going back to drugs wasn't it. I knew drinking wasn't it at that point. I had already been through Alcohol Anonymous for years. I had already been through substance abuse treatment in the military. So I knew that wasn't it. And I really just started working out hard. like just again, I aged myself earlier, but just working out as if I was still 18 years old, and ultimately end up hurting my body. And that's when I realized, like, oh, there is no solution to a feeling. And I was exhibiting still the same thought patterns in a way that somebody who we would call addicted to a substance or something would do. And that was my kind of like aha moment for me of, oh, wait, I'm no different. I am in a suffering moment right now, and I am looking for relief, and I'm looking outward. That that's that the fact that I am looking outward for inward relief is the same exact, I can't say exact, but along the same lines, the thought pattern I had when I used to drink to numb the pain, when I would smoke to numb the pain. It was, I just need to get away from this experience. This experience sucks so bad that I'd just rather be drunk and go to sleep. I deal with the hangover. I just don't want this. Fast forward, that was 2018, 2024 happens. Most of you have seen me throughout the community, grow, share, teach, and do my thing. But the end of 2024 nearly wiped my legs out from under me again. Within the span of a few months, I lost one of my biggest mentors, Ms. Beverly Johnson. She was a person who would call me and literally just say, sit down, boy. Literally, just like that. Like, sit down. And I'd be like, yes, ma'am, because I would be tired. I would be about to overwork myself. I would be stretching myself thin. And I loved her so much, and was able to talk to her through FaceTime only moments before she passed. And so that one was hard. And then shortly after that, my uncle, who taught me how to be an independent thinker, he was the what do you call it, the conspiracy guy in your family. Nothing happens that's just normal. It's that uncle. But man, was he full of life. And he challenged me always, especially when I left for the military. It was like, don't, again, I talk how my family actually talks to me, so you would be there. He's like, don't get over there acting stupid. Act like you got some sense. Trust, you can trust your leaders, but make sure you verify. Don't just take nobody's word for it. And so when he passed, there was a piece of me that just felt gone, because I've always been a challenger of norms. And for a minute, I thought to just get in line and stop doing it. Keep going. Few weeks pass by. Everybody's everything for me is moving back along. My ex-wife calls me and says my best friend had died in a car accident. And this is when I thought, I don't want this experience anymore. I really don't. Every picture of my daughter's birthdays, graduations, high school and college, we're in them together. And my daughter is about to graduate from her master's. And the day before she was getting ready, she put the invitations together. And so she had just filled out his invitation for the graduation. I didn't know what to do. And so I literally sat in my office and just cried. I just cried for hours, literally. And I remember not caring about the crying, not trying to hurry it up, not trying to move it along. It was being sad and wail at the same time. Like it was, yes, there was chaos happening with family members, but at no point did I think I wasn't okay. At no point through it. Yes, it hurt. Yes, it felt like somebody sitting on my chest, but at no point did the thought come, you're not okay. The thoughts, the prayers, is why I had to acknowledge Debbie when I saw her face, because she sent me a recording of a prayer that I've played I don't know how many times, just as a love note to remember, you know. And then starts the fires, and that'll bring me. So we get the call that the fires have started, and within the first couple hours, I text Michael and was like, once we realized we were all okay, I was like, hey man, I got to stop by. I was so calm that I thought I was numb. I thought like, oh shit, everything that has happened has caused me to be numb. And I've done too much work. I've done, I was spinning myself up over that. And so I get over to his house. We sit there, try to do some regular stuff, watch football, eat some chips and stuff. And he's kind of giggling like he does. And he was like, I don't think you're numb. I think you're well. I was like, the hell is you talking about? How am I well when all this stuff is going on, man? And we get into our banter and start laughing the way that we do. But he was right. I really had seen what grounding is. Really, like grounding is nothing more than your ability to look at which side of your experience you choose. That's it. Doesn't mean that having grounding, you won't have a negative experience. Doesn't mean that having grounding, you automatically have positive experiences. No, it was just the grounding was you had a notification and a system. You had something that would point you back to the truth of who you are, and allow you to understand that you are creating your experience. And that, for me, has been the biggest difference in my life. Again, whether that's having a mom who was, dealing with domestic abuse, living in an area full of drugs and gang violence, to the military, to deployments, to being shot at, to being bombed on, to retiring and not feeling like I fit anywhere, not feeling like my skills would, transcend or translate to the civilian sector. And even for a long time thinking civilians were just different type human beings than military people, and dealing with that fear and that which is probably why I always want people to feel seen and heard, because my mind was chaotic when I didn't feel seen and heard. And I can understand how people make decisions in this world, although I don't agree with them all. I understand the suffering, or the pain that they are in the moment that allows them to think a thought of harming themselves or harming someone else. I can see how they think those are true or should be true. They're not, but I totally understand it. And so the three things that I really just wanted to point home was that there's no solution to a feeling. You can be sad, mad, anxious, and well all at the same time. All at the same time. And living fully, it's not just a positive experience. It's experiencing the full spectrum of life. Because you don't have to be afraid of any experience you've ever been through, going through, or will face. There's a quote Sydney Banks has that says, if we could just help people see, they don't have to be afraid of their experience, that alone would change the world. And I'm watching it daily. My gym turned into the donation center for the city. And by the time I got there, I had a few meetings, and then I got there, the donation center had been open for probably about 2 hours at that point. And the moment I walk in, the owner of the gym comes to me. She was like, hey, we got the mic queued up. Do your thing. What thing? She was like, that thing you do. Like, people need to know we're okay. And I was like, you could tell them we're okay. She's like, no, you got to tell them we're okay. It's her gym. So I get on the mic. I stand in the middle of the room and I ask for everybody's attention. And I just say, look at the person next to you, left and right. I said, that's a heart-centered human being, because they can choose to get themselves all under the condition or under the circumstances that we're facing. But they've chose to be here to help put hands, feet, and movement to helping those who are in need. And I just want to honor that for a second. People started hugging, then we started high-fiving. And before you know it, we had a few things we said, the context was there, and we just started working. And to watch people pull up and see all the volunteers laughing and high-fiving, they would say, I mean, well, I can go grab, I didn't put on any clothes, but I'll go change and come back and volunteer. Like I want to help too. I want to be there, you know, or people saying, my God, y'all smiles or lighting us up. You know, just for somebody to, in the midst of this, go drive to a grocery store, think about somebody else, grab something and bring it and drop it off. Those flashes of humanity during the chaos, it's melted my heart, man. It really melted my heart. And it was a clear experience for me that resonates with this understanding beyond belief. I have yet to break it down fully. The stuff that I've just talked about to you about through it was the first time I'm gushing it out. And it'll probably, you'll hear more about it, and I'll probably do a couple podcasts about it. I don't know, but it's fresh, it's new, and it's why I wanted to talk about it. But this understanding, I make no mistake about it. It saved my life. And it continues to save my life. Because some of the things I've been through, I didn't want to experience. And I've been okay sometimes with saying, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. Do I want to rush out of here? No, I love it. It's a fun ride, you know. But there were moments where I was okay if I did. And I'm just happy that I have this understanding now because those aren't there anymore. Do I still get, you know, sad? Absolutely. You see me crying now. Can't even get my nose to stop running. You know, do I get mad about things too? Yes, I do. I do. I do. I'm just as human as everybody else. But man, it comes back to this, whatever I feel, it's not my job to you know, weaponize that towards somebody else. But all I'm here to do is show the love. I don't have any other choice. You know, I wasn't supposed to make it past 18. I wasn't supposed to make it through the deployments I made it through. I wasn't supposed to do all that. I just, yeah, I just know that this saved my life. And it's why I won't conform to any right way of teaching it. It's why I won't exclude anybody who's willing to hear it. I don't care. Like, you know, the guys who are in prison that I talk to, you know, those guys have been counted out. Some of them don't even think they have the worth to be alive. And it's like, no, you too. Even you. Even you. Not agreeing. And I'll say this. I even had a mentee who was involved in a shootout that had to go to jail. And one of the 3P organizations wanted to help on his behalf. And my work to him and to his mother was, we will help with support. We will not stand between him accepting consequences for his actions. Those are two different things. I will talk to this young man. I will do sessions with this young man from his jail cell. However, the crime he committed, he must be accountable for. But that doesn't stop me from loving him. It doesn't stop me from supporting his family. Those are two different things. And so that the understanding for me has allowed my life to kind of move in that manner, where I just get to show up and reign, just be a piece of joy and light, no matter. And it's not a fake thing too, because once I get in front of people, it lights up. I mean, I could see you in me and you and me and me and you. I could see it. Like I could look at you and kind of jump off. It's a story. It's a story about, I think it was, I probably get it wrong, so please don't beat me up. But it's a religious story. I think it was two mothers. John the Baptist mom and Jesus' mom was pregnant at the time. And I guess they had passed each other and their bellies basically became magnetic almost. Like the two spirits of the John the Baptist and Jesus the Christ, they were kind of jumping at each other. That's what I feel like when I'm in front of people. Like there aren't any strangers anymore to me. I may not know your name, I may not know your story, but you're not a stranger to me. You're not a weirdo, or you're not this, or no, you're somebody I just don't know yet. But I'd love to know if you're willing to talk about it. Because I'll run my damn mouth all day long in the grocery store. Like we can sit over by the produce and just talk about everything, you know. So yeah, but I'll stop there with the webinar portion and just open it up, man, for us to engage in a discussion. If there's any questions you have, you know, answer them. But if there's something you've heard or something you want to offer to the discussion, please do. And we'll just call names as
Yeah.
the hands come up.
Yeah, and also, if you don't know where the raise hand button is, if you go down at the bottom, there's a React section, and you can click on that and raise your hand and talk to Rob.
Hey, Debbie.
Hey, Rob. Oh my gosh. Ooh, I love you. I see you. Your tears are holy. Your tears are holy. And, you and I know very well, not by choice,
Oh, yeah.
circumstances that were beyond our control, that it's okay to cry. It's okay to be mad. It's okay to face challenges.
Yeah.
And we could still be well inside. And anchoring into that position of, honey, it's okay.
It's okay.
I'm here. I see you. Seeing ourselves, validating our own pain rather than trying to spiritualize it, jump over it, figure out the right words to say. No, honey, I'm here. I'm here. I see you. This hurts, right?
Yeah.
It moves so fast when we just allow ourselves to feel it. It's the resistance to it. It's all the dance around it so we don't
Absolutely.
feel it.
Feel it. Yeah, yeah. That's the
the
problem.
And
Yeah.
it's all my life shouldn't be in this direct. If I really knew Jesus, if I really knew the principles, if I really knew personal growth, if I really knew how to control my mind, none of this stuff would be happening. I'd have the perfect life. Well, that's just not reality, you know? But the gift of knowing an intimate relationship with God, the gift of knowing and understanding the principles, the gift of understanding our nervous systems and our bodies, that we're going to go through these various states that are fully adapted. They humanly, we're supposed to go through periods of being numb when there's trauma, when there's too much.
Yeah.
And then that'll settle down and we'll get into fight or flight and we'll be really pissed off. And that's normal too. And then we'll come back to a baseline. But the spirit inside of us, always well. Always that anchor, always that solid ground, that home that we can return to and be our own sense of safety and security. And when we do that, then all of a sudden, everyone around us feels a whole lot safer and more secure. Both ways. Both ways. I celebrate your courage. I know our prayers continue for everyone out there, and just love you so. But I'm going to have to pop off in like 2 minutes, but just so good to hear you and see you today. And I love you.
I love you too, Debbie. And I'll say this real quick before you jump off. Another experience I didn't have to speak about in there. Obviously, well, I'm gonna say obviously because it's not, but given how I grew up, my mom was in high school when she had me. So my grandmother wanted to make sure she completed high school and still went to college. So she kind of raised me majority of my life. And recently, she was given a hospice diagnosis.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if you would have given her that diagnosis 3 months ago, it would have floored me. But if you haven't heard me interview Debbie, Debbie beat hospice
Yes.
twice. She beat hospice. The thing the conversation they have with you, like, this is it, just prepare and wait till it happens. Debbie beat it twice. And so when we had that conversation and then it was shared with me, when my mom is explaining the information and doctors talking, there was an authority kind of, I was like, well, wait, what you're saying is not the end. What you're saying is giving me information, but it's not the end. And I told my mom, it's like, you don't have to accept that verdict. Like, you don't have to accept that verdict. And so we brought my grandmother home. Yes, it is challenging because at night she doesn't remember much of anything. It's a dementia onset more so at night than any other part. But during the day, there's these moments where she lights up. And I wouldn't have that experience if not had that moment of her being so open to share her story with me for to know it was possible. And so, Debbie, I love you, and I thank you so much for your courage and for your fight, and for being here, because I didn't want that added to the equation, given what I was going through, the worry of my grandmother. But yeah, I love you, Debbie, and we'll talk. I don't even have to worry about that. All
So
right.
I'm so grateful you shared that. And yeah, you never know how God's going to use some of your challenges,
Mm,
but I so believe that we are blessed to be a blessing. And yeah, thank you, Rob.
thank you.
Take good care, honey.
All right, Marlene.
Ugh.
Hi, Rob.
Hi.
Thank you for this. When I first saw the announcement for this webinar and you were making reference to that feeling of safety, first of all, I dismissed it because I thought, I grew up in a small city in Canada. We never locked our doors. And I realized that there was a difference. I lived in New Orleans for many years, and there's lots of crime there. I heard gunshots behind my house. But I never had that fear for my personal safety. So I thought, well, I'm okay here. But what occurred to me this morning is that I don't always feel safe. You might call it psychologically, like, when I feel distressed or imagine that, what people might say or do, or, coming from a background of having a very perfectionist, critical parent. Um, and so really the fear of not feeling safe, I can appreciate, comes from my own thinking about what might happen, what people might do or say. But as you were speaking, I had a recollection. It's like my email inbox is kind of like my file cabinet. It's like all my contacts are in there, all the messages are in there, and I often go back, refer to it, and I close up there's hundreds, if not thousands, of emails, and my email server filled up, and I thought I better delete a couple of thousand. And in the process, I wiped out my entire inbox. And in
Mm,
the past, I would have been like freaking out, like if not crying, phoning people, like, the oh my gee, this has happened. And I could not believe how calm I was. It's like, oh well.
uh,
It was like a completely new experience. Like, oh, it's all gone. So now what, kind of thing. So interestingly, I just very calmly wrote to the company, in Vancouver, can you reinstate my email box? And they emailed me back about 4 or 5 hours later and said, yeah, we were able to do that for you. So I just thought it was like, it's like seeing something, newly, that really doesn't matter what happens. Like you say, we're okay.
yeah. No, I love that story because most of my work with clients is just letting them feel safe enough to be themselves for a moment. Like they haven't realized they don't feel safe being themselves in their relationship, professionally, or even socially. Like there's something they have to do. There's a certain way the women who are in fitness or in the entertainment industry are supposed to look. So that pressure, and they don't feel safe to just be themselves. There's certainly conversations happening around, diversity and stuff where people don't feel safe to talk about. Politically, the climate is like, don't talk about it. Like there are so many areas where people just don't feel safe. Now they don't, we have safety in, like you said, the physical safety of not hearing gunshots or being robbed at gunpoint and things like that. But I'm just talking about the psychological innocence of knowing no matter where you are fully okay to be yourself without any of the pretenses, any of the masks that I'll speak for myself. I won't say we, I'll speak for me. None of the masks that I learned to wear throughout the years to keep people from knowing that I wasn't okay. Uh, I used to, one of my biggest, I won't call it a pet peeve, but it'll trigger me at times. If I say, "Hey, how you doing?" "Oh, I'm okay." I'll be like, "What? How do you sleep? How's your heart? When's the last time you laughed?" Like it's like it almost feels like I'm starting to interrogate you in a minute because okay was a word I used for years. And I used it knowing if you poked just a little bit, I would fall apart. I would fall apart. Probably cry right there in front of you. So please don't ask me am I okay for real. Like let's just play the formality game and you let me out of here without tears dropping down my face or having to face this moment. And that's how a lot of people move through life. So no, I love that story, and I know what the breakthrough of it feels like as well. So kudos on that. Thank you for being here too,
Thank you.
Kathy.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Rob, it's really lovely to meet you. I've watched some of your talks through the 3PGC and with Michael when you got with Michael first time when he did some sessions. I'm kind of really
He did his voodoo when he did his voodoo magic. Yeah.
I'm kind of halfway through those. I'm really savoring them, really taking my time with those. So it's really great to meet you, Rob. It's such an honor actually to meet you and speak with you. This is only just brief, just to say thank you so much for sharing. And I'm sending my love as well. And even now, as I'm kind of reflecting on your story a bit, it's just pulling me a little bit. I don't know why, but I think it's the wasn't expecting this. Was not expecting that. I think it's subsiding. I think it's the honesty and the, I don't know if it's the grittiness or what, it's just the sheer honesty that it's okay to feel all this stuff, the insights, and from what the last couple of conversations with these lovely ladies, it's just kind of this, it's all part of being human. We're okay. We're just okay beneath the crap.
Yeah.
We're okay, and a lot of the time, I'm a therapist. I'm a hypnotherapist, and a lot of the time, it's as if like you have to do something in order to feel a better way. And God, that's exhausting, isn't it? And what a load of rubbish. What a load of rubbish. Don't need to do that. Just chill out. Just settle down. Just come here. Just, reel yourself back a little bit. It's hard work, isn't it? Thinking that you have to do something all the time.
It is hard work thinking you have to do something, because thinking you have to do something means you got to find the right thing, which insinuates there's a right and a wrong thing. And I don't want to get it wrong. So then I go look to what other people say, and I'm going to use what they say as the right thing. So then I'll get it and it falls apart from there.
God, it's like a mental matrix.
Yeah.
Isn't it, going on all the time? It's like you're chasing something that's not there because it isn't there, because it's here. And the more I hear it, Rob, it's just so, yeah, the more I hear and the more you talk, it's like, oh God, yeah. Rob, I could listen to you all day long, honest to God.
Thank you. Thank you.
You just are such a lovely, lovely soul, Rob, and thank you just for sharing. And God bless you, honestly. And from my heart to yours, I'm sending love, Rob, honestly. So thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And nice to meet you as well. I usually don't cry on my first time meeting people. Normally I wait. I wait till we've been on one or two webinars together to cry in front of you. But you feel like family, so I'll just let it
Yeah,
out. I'll just let it all out.
you're
So
amongst friends and family, obviously, the conversations, it's just so lovely. And I didn't think I would get emotional either. But it's just that kind of connection that, yeah. But gorgeous story, Rob, and thank you so much for sharing, you know.
happy. And stick around. We do good stuff around here. We're a lovely community.
Thank you so much.
I forgot his name.
Thank
Y'all help
you.
me out. I forgot how to pronounce it already. Somebody help me out who remember our conversation. Let's just go with
It's
B. B.
B. Banked. Still
How
banked.
you doing, man?
I'm actually now I'm actually doing good. And it's funny that you ask it again because that really when you just talked about that, like no one should like seriously ask you how you doing because that really like reminded me of such a long time in my life, whereas I like always saying, yeah, I'm good, I'm fine, and it was always like it was such a lie, and yeah, and 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 so much of the time, and I mean, you told a little bit of your story, but for me, it was I think a lot of the problem was like my life always looked good from the outside. So what do you have to complain about?
Complain about.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like you can always tell everybody, yeah, I'm doing this and that, and it reminds me of a story I heard from someone also on the three principles who told his story, and he said like and I grinded and I worked, and at one point I was on a beach in a hammock with a beautiful woman next to me, and I was miserable. And I was like, and that's like often so has been like so much my life was like it's like I should be like so happy, and the circumstances are there. So what you complaining about? And now that I have this kind of, I don't know, understanding of the three principles, I have so many like situations that don't really warrant like being just amazingly happy in this moment. Just everyday situations where I haven't slept well and I haven't eaten, and what I'm doing isn't like what my favorite thing to do, and I'm just so amazingly happy for no apparent reason, and that is such a difference to before, whereas like, yeah, I should be happy. I have there's nothing objectively missing in my life, but I always have to pretend that I'm okay. And now for the almost for the first time in my life, this having these moments of like just being completely happy, and that is such a difference, and there's no outer circumstance that is better now than it was years ago when I was just pretending, and no, I haven't won the lottery or have the perfect this or that, but it's just how you see the world is just completely different.
Absolutely. That's honestly one of the reasons I couldn't put the principles down. Like I really tried because it was scary to think that I've had this gift my whole life, didn't know how to use it. Boy, have I messed up the first 40 years. Like that was a real thought. And to your point of you ain't got nothing to complain about. I've heard that so many times. You made it through the gangs. You ain't got nothing to complain about. You made it through the wars. You ain't got nothing to complain about. You made it. And it was like the worst thing, in my opinion, that you could do for someone is attempt to make them qualify or quantify their trauma. Like, it's got to reach a certain threshold before I can give you a hug. Oh, that ain't nothing. You know, that ain't nothing. Look at what I did. No, that's not how it works. And if you want to get a kick out of the neighborhood, when somebody says, how you doing, tell them the truth. Watch it. It is amazing how I've literally, people say, how you doing today? I'm in a shit show. Okay, have a nice day. Keep like, wait, what? What did you say? What did you say? What did you say? I said, I'm in the middle of a shit show. And they're like, oh, well, me too, really. I mean, honestly, and then it just goes from there, you know. But most people are so used to just, again, that formality that you don't even hear, even if the person says, you don't even hear the inflection in the voice. I'm okay. Okay, cool. All right, bye. Boom, on to the next. Check the box, on to the next. So, yeah, being able to fully express and be yourself in your community, in your areas where you feel safe enough to do, it's life-changing.
Yeah.
It's
But
life-changing.
that has also changed a little bit with the three principles. I'm in the process of becoming more and more of a people person. That
Yeah.
in a sense of like it used to be like where like when I ask a question and I could hear like someone say like, oh my God, yeah, I'm doing fine. I was like, oh my God, get away. I really don't want to hear it. And so now I'm feeling a lot more open to actually someone saying no, I'm not doing fine, and I can listen to them. Where it
Yeah.
used to be like I have my own problems. I
I
really just ask you if you're fine because that's what you do. I really
don't.
don't want to hear it.
You're being very rude by telling the truth right now, okay? I really didn't care. I
Yeah.
only asked because it's something I've been taught as a kid you're supposed to do. Like, really stop right now. So, no, I appreciate that, man. All right, I'll go to Jennifer and then we'll see if he can hear from me later. Hey, Jennifer,
Hey, Rob.
how are
Um,
you?
I'm great. How are you? Well, we all know how you are. You just explained your whole life in a
I'm in the
nutshell.
shit show. I'm in the shit show.
Um, I love this conversation about safety. Something's been happening recently. It's kind of taken it from intellectual to really like in my heart, but I've felt safer lately than I've ever felt before. And it's suddenly not about what's happening outside of me. It's it's just been um just a calm, peaceful feeling regardless of my outside situations. My whole life I thought that I would feel good and feel safe when there was a time constraint on everything. Like when I was truly like when I was okay.
You muted again, Jennifer.
Hey,
You're muted.
Jennifer, we lost your audio.
There we go.
There you go. Okay. So there was a time constraint on safety, and it was very dependent on outside events. And lately, I've just had this peace inside that is just so separate. So I've got a friend who just finished about a year's worth of chemotherapy, radiation, immunotherapy, like literally a year. And um, she was just getting to where she was going to do breast reconstruction, like start talking about it next week because she just finished last week. Well, she went in and um, they found a nodule in her lungs that may have metastasized. She went in and she got a biopsy a couple days ago. I'm meeting her for lunch right now, like in just a few minutes. And she hasn't got the results back yet. But this could, again, have her whole life be completely. She just finally thought maybe she was safe. And I just realized that what the best thing I can do is whatever this safety feeling of me that is so independent of, the outside, the fires. I've got family down there. I've got things I worry about with my kids and my husband and my business and my life, but my safety is not found there. If I can bring that to lunch with her in 5 minutes, I don't know what she'll see, but if I can have her feel that she's safe right now, because that's all we have, like right now, she's good. Right now, she's good. And I may not even have to say anything for that. I really think it's in how we be with people. So this conversation has just given me, I mean, I was driving, sorry, I wasn't on that video, but it just opened up a whole new possibility that I can make a difference for my friend today because of the
Yeah.
things you shared. You saying how calm you are, how you didn't know, am I blocking things out? Is there something wrong? Why do I feel this calm? Like I have that feeling, and I don't know what's in store for her when she gets her results back in a couple days, but she's okay. She's okay right now.
Yeah.
And so it's like a gift that I can share with her.
Most definitely is a gift. And I'm going to ask you to do something only because I know you very well as well also. I'm going to ask you to just hug her.
Mhm.
But not for you, but for me.
Yeah.
I've sat next to a bunch of families with this walk toward cancer. I literally had one client who just purchased me for a month. I hate to say it that way, but he was like, I don't want you to have any other clients. Whatever you get revenue per month on working as a coach, tell me what that is. I told him the number. He says, I will double it. All I want you to do is to be here with my brother as he goes through chemo. And I literally was like, why? He says, because you're the only person who doesn't think my brother is an asshole. That was it. He said, I get frustrated. I grew up with him, but for some reason, you just look at him and you just smile, or you can make him laugh. He says, I don't know what it is, but I just want you with him. And that's what he did. And so he'll fly me privately to his brother on Wednesday. I would stay to his brother Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then fly back home Saturday. And that was my job for months. And he had stage 4 lung and colon.
Mm.
So we would get to a point. We did the regular hospitals. We did untraditional that was paid for cash, where they inject the chemo directly into the cell. We did it all, but that was quite a ride. And I learned that that's the only thing we can do, is to continue exuding a space for them, this safe feeling, because they are spinning. Some, maybe not everybody, but they are spinning. And whatever the doctors say in 3-4 days or however long, it's actually true now. Whatever they say. You see what I mean? So technically getting the announcement is only how we're going to deal with it. But what they're going to say is actually true right now. We're just unaware of what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, I hope she is well though. Give her a big hug. And kudos to you. We've been working on something together. So it's super cool to hear say you're feeling calm and you're starting to feel safe. Because I think what you're pulling together over there is going to be so impactful, not just for schools, but for the criminal justice area that you're in. Like, I know it. And it's why I love
I feel it.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I know it too. And there are a lot of things in life I haven't known, and I know this. I know it. I know it. Thank
Yeah.
you, Rob.
So it's good to be a part of that, supporting you on that. Thank you. All right, we're gonna try Pastor Alex again, and then I'll close us up.
Yeah, we'll give it a try. He says he has very, very low
Yeah, I know.
network, but we can give him another shot if he's available.
Hey, sir, let's try it again because I definitely want to hear from you.
And Alex, try turning off your camera. It might help.
Yes, I'm back. Hi, everyone. Hi. Yes, I'm very grateful for wonderful meeting like this one. Hi. So I'm very proud of having you here as a Facebook friend and one of the people who are following the good news of three principles of it. I can tell you through the word of God. Yes, and it's what I'm teaching sometimes to my youths, my fellow youths. I tell them about the higher power and the meaning of higher power. And sometimes I do ask my friends, who is your higher power apart from God? And I explain to them that in this addiction, in this way I was in before, this on how we can control ourselves. So for now, I'm just thanking the group for creating a wonderful things.
I appreciate that, sir.
And as I join the team of which I will gonna have my notifications. So I will ask the admin when time will come so that I can schedule my testimony from what how devil has really. That's the request I will surrender into the office so that it can be seen, so it can touch some other lives of people who will see, who will understand my testimony.
The testimony.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Pastor Alex, if you can send that in, it'll probably be me that reach out to you, just like I did for the refugee camps. All I love is sharing stories. I love when somebody could tell how this understanding has impacted their life. That was the whole reason the podcast started. That's the whole reason I love, going all around meeting. So we definitely, if you send that in, we'll definitely get connected to make sure that we share your story as well. Thank you for being here, sir.
Yeah, I know there is power in testimony.
Yeah.
And sharing is caring. When you share what is deep inside you and the challenges you've passed can change another environment where there was no light.
I like
so
it.
I will request for a time. I will request for a time next meeting when I should have the time like the one you had today.
And Tom, you can personally chat him whatever.
Yeah, I do. I sent him some of the info, but we also can, Alex, we can reach out to you personally, and we'll get something considered. But thank you so much for being here, and thanks for like sticking with us.
I will request for. Can I send my WhatsApp number? Because here in Facebook and here I prefer WhatsApp messages quickly.
Yeah, Alex, if you put it in, we're messaging right now. If you put it in the chat, I will copy that before we sign off, and we'll have someone get in touch with you. But thank you so much for being here. And Rob,
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless. We're at the top of the hour, but if you want to take a little time to say anything else before I tell people about the next meeting, it's all yours.
Okay, I just lost everybody. There we go. Okay, I just want to look. I've been looking at Jan's face. Is it Anika? I've been looking at everybody's faces as we go. I just want thumbs up. Make sure everybody is perfect. Okay. Pretty much I love y'all, man. That's really like the last of it. I am truly grateful to be a part of this community. I will not lie to you. The reason I run so hard for it and the reason I love so hard for it is because I tried to prove it wrong. I tried to make it a place that didn't accept me. I tried to find issues and faults so that my mind could relax a little bit. But the truth is, this community has hugged me and loved me in an unconditional way. They've allowed me to be me. I'm a little bit different than some of the teachers, but this community seems to love that too. They dance with me. They cry with me. They like it's family to me. So yes, if you are a part of this community, I'll just say stay connected to it. as we grow, as we stay true to who we are and what we understand, our community will as well. And that's it for me, Tom.
Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Rob. And I'm sure this is really going to touch people who see this recording, and I know there'll be a lot of people watching this. So we so appreciate you as always. And before we say goodbye, I just want to let people know about our next webinar. It'll be in 2 weeks, January 28th at the regular 2 p.m. Eastern time, and you can work out your own time from there. And we're going to have some of our friends from Scandinavia here. It'll be Hannah Meyer Schoblum and Thomas Jensen
Okay.
meeting with us, and we're really looking forward to that. And if you all want to take a second to unmute and say thanks and I love you and goodbye to everyone, feel free.
Thank you so much, Rob.
Thank
Thanks,
you,
Rob.
sir.
Appreciate it.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks, Rob.
Bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye, everyone. Thanks,
Bye,
Rob.
everyone.
Eric.